The Jewish world will be celebrating tomorrow evening the holiday of Shavuot, and joining us now to tell us about the meaning of Shavuot, from what we eat to what we actually celebrate, is founding rabbi at the Tel Aviv International Synagogue, Rabbi Ariel Konstantyn. Rabbi Konstantyn, so what is the meaning of Shavuot? Why do Jews actually celebrate this holiday?
Well, there are a number of reasons for the celebration. First of all, historical. According to tradition, we celebrated Shavuot first at Mount Sinai when we received the Ten Commandments, just 50 days after leaving Egypt, after the big exodus from Egypt. There we gathered around the mountain and heard the Word of God revealed to us and to the world, the Ten Commandments that have become the basis of civilization, Western civilization throughout the world. There also are agricultural ties. It is a holiday of the wheat harvest, where we thank God for the wheat, which is the foundation of our diet. And around this time, the wheat is ripe, and therefore we used to bring a special sacrifice in the temple called Shtei Alechem, these 2 loaves of bread from the first of the wheat harvest. And we celebrate the fact that we've embraced Judaism. And in a sense, it's become somewhat of a holiday that we celebrate conversion as well, because we, in a sense, embrace Judaism, and therefore we embrace those who would like to embrace Judaism on this holiday.
And what are some of the common traditions for this holiday? I mean, how is it being celebrated?
So there are a number of traditions. One of them is to study Torah all night. So we actually have at the Tel Aviv International Synagogue an all-night learning program in Hebrew, English, and French in parallel, all night long from 10:30 at night until 4 in the morning. And then we go down to the beach and we sing and we read the book of Ruth, which is also tradition because she converted and embraced Judaism. And then we do the morning prayers as the sun rises over the Mediterranean. So that's a beautiful celebration and observance that we do on Shavuot. We also read the Ten Commandments in the Torah, and it's traditional to eat dairy foods on the holiday as well.
So really, wearing white, eating dairy, one of the things most people know, maybe without even understanding the significance of the holiday, is that we all cook, bake, and we eat dairy in forms which makes this holiday a favorite to many. Where does this actually come from? I mean, why do we actually eat dairy?
So there are a number of different understandings of where the dairy custom came from. One of them is relating to receiving the Torah, because it says in Tehillim, Dvash v'chalav tacha leshonecha, which means that the Torah should be sweet like honey and milk, which has sweet sugars underneath your tongue. There's also the concept that when we first received the Torah, we didn't know how to handle meat, because it's a very complicated process, from the ritual slaughter to checking the lungs for health and soaking and salting to get out the blood, etc. It was too much. We said, you know what? Let's eat dairy until we can understand exactly how this works. There are also veiled references when we told Mincha Chadasha LaHashem, that we offered a new offering to God. Those first letters are the letters Chalav, Chet, Lamed, Vet. So there's another hint, a reference to the concept of dairy. And that's become a tradition of blintzes, of cheesecakes, and various delicious dairy delicacies.
Definitely one of the most delicious holidays. Now, any difference of how you celebrate Shavuot in Israel and abroad? Because, you know, some of the holidays, they add another day. I mean, is there any difference between the two?
Indeed. In Israel, it's only one day. It passes before it starts. It starts Thursday night and ends Friday evening. This year, because it flows into Shabbat, it'll feel a little bit longer. But in general, it's just one day. And in the diaspora, it's actually 2 full days. But this year, the diaspora and the Israeli community will be celebrating it in a sense the same, because in the diaspora it will be Shabbat and Shavuot, and for us in Israel it will also be Shabbat. The only difference is that in Israel we'll be reading next week's Parshat Naso, and in the diaspora they'll be still celebrating Shavuot. So actually will fall a week behind Israel, and that will last a number of weeks. There'll be a dissonance between the weekly portion in Israel and the weekly portion in the diaspora. They'll be 1 week behind until they do a double portion and catch up to us sometime in July.
That's really interesting. Now, Rabbi Konstantyn, what do we wish on Shavuot to our dear ones, to the people around us? I mean, what do we actually say? Besides Happy Shavuot, is there anything special?
Well, we wish Chag Sameach. I think it's one of the 3 pilgrimage festivals, so that's a very appropriate wish to wish them happy holiday, Chag Sameach. The pilgrimage holidays is when we used to ascend to Jerusalem, so it's one of those 3. And certainly it's a holiday that we bring everyone together, that after 50 days of the Omer, we've been counting from Passover, 50 days till Shavuot, and this whole period is about unity and love and bringing people together and correcting some of the ills of the past. As we stood at Mount Sinai, ki ish echad b'lev echad, like one person, one heart, so too we wish ourselves that we should bring our people together and to embrace each other with, despite our differences, or with our differences, even better, to respect one another and to bring about a sense of Jewish unity.
Amen. Rabbi Konstantyn, happy Shavuot, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, and to all the viewers as well. Chag Sameach.